Tonight on Ctv3 News, Mexico agrees to sell Belize an additional 20 megs of power, but will that solve our energy crisis? We have an update from the Prime Minister as he is back from Cancun. A sugar shortage in the north is contraband an issue once more. A taxi driver from Orange Walk is charged for sexual assault against a minor of 9 years. And the PM Briseño and Ilmotok trade. These are some of the stories we have for you tonight in our newscast for Monday, May 13th, 2024.
As I look out on the audience, I see many of the artists whose works are represented in this first display. My respect to each of you for contributing to Belize's creative and intellectual inheritance. I also offer my admiration and respect to those artists represented in the museum who have passed on. Their work lives on as sources of inspiration and education. And for the many hundreds of artists who are not in the first show, I say that it is not our intention to develop a culture of exclusion or gatekeeping. Just the opposite. We see this space as one of liberation.
Yo me llamo José Luis Vivas. Yo he sido miembro desde hace 35 años en la Unión de Crédito. Todos mis préstamos que he pedido siempre me lo han dado. Ha sido una ayuda muy grande para mí porque he visto la prosperidad. Entonces ha crecido bastante por medio de la Unión de Crédito que me ha ayudado bastante en la comunidad de los cañeros, porque especialmente lo he visto porque hay muchos cañeros ahí en la Unión de Crédito y es por siempre por la ayuda que nos han dado. Yo empecé con 25 toneladas de licencia de caña. Ahorita ya estoy casi, entre yo y mi esposa casi tenemos las 2,000. Desde que estaba el señor Don Canul, yo ya estaba trabajando con la Unión de Crédito y ese viejito me trató muy bien. Me trató muy bien, entonces yo se lo recomiendo a cualquiera para el futuro.
Itzat STEM Academy is a 4-year government high school that does focus on science, technology, engineering, arts and mathematics, which is called STEAM.
Before this, I've been to other high schools or private schools, and just being here feels so much more different. But my experience with STEAM in a whole, I love it.
Itzat STEM Academy, we are inclusive.
Females in robotics, I think that we could have a lot of success.
This has been the best school life I've ever had. It brings out your creative and innovative side in almost all subjects. In fact, in all subjects.
My experience at STEAM Academy is stunning.
Our students will, I hope, tell you that they are happy to be here, because from the moment they set foot in the campus in the morning to the moment they leave, they're engaged in interesting activities which have real meaning to their lives. And by doing this, the learning is much deeper, more effective and long-lasting.
Good evening with your news, also simulcast on Fiesta FM 106.7. I am Joanna Rodriguez. Prime Minister John Briceño, along with representatives from Belize Electricity Limited, BEL, met with President Manuel Lopez Obrador and representatives of CFE over the weekend. The main topic of discussion was the ongoing energy crisis affecting the jewel. The media spoke to the PM this morning during an event in Belize City where he gave a brief update on that meeting. Based on the discussions held over the weekend, Belize is set to benefit from an additional 20 megs of power from its counterparts in Mexico.
What we did is, when I met with the president in Mexico City, he invited me to join him in Cancun, where he had when he every 2 weeks he goes to look at the Tren Maya project. And so he invited different ministries and the head of CFE to be able to meet with us. We had a chance to meet with the president and the head of CFE, and they have agreed that they will work with us to continue to provide energy. As you know, well, probably most people don't know, but we have a maximum of 55 megawatts of energy that we can buy. Now what the president offered us to be able to increase it to 20 by 20 more, so we'll be able to buy approximately 75 megawatts, and we'll be working with CFE now to run a second line into Belize.
Additional details from that meeting are expected later this week after Cabinet is briefed on the matter. At this time, there are several reports of a shortage of sugar in communities here in the north. Viewers may remember that back in 2023, our local sugar was being illegally taken across the border in Mexico and Guatemala, pushing Belizeans into a sugar shortage around Christmas time. Well, it seems that the same situation is happening again this year. Authorities have been made aware of this matter, and concern is growing as we could see a severe sugar shortage as crop season comes to an end. A meeting is expected between the government of Belize, along with BSI, ESR, and the Sugar Industry Control Board, SICB, later this week to discuss this matter and chart a way forward. During his visit to Mexico over the weekend, Prime Minister John Briceño says the matter of sugar was also discussed. Those discussions, according to PM, included the issue of Belizean sugar being taken illegally into Mexico and the possibility of exporting our sugar into the Mexican market.
We spoke about sugar. As you all know, a lot of our sugar is being contraband into the Chetumal region, and it creates shortages for us. The president then agreed that he will talk with the Minister of Economy, for us to look at the tariff regime to be able to expect to reduce it, and also then to give us a certain quota to be able to export sugar.
We will have an update on the meeting with sugar industry stakeholders in Wednesday's newscast. It did not make it on the news last week, but we understand that Rafael Murillo, a 41-year-old taxi driver from Orange Walk, appeared in court on Tuesday last, facing charges of sexual assault against a minor 9 years of age. After the sitting magistrate in Orange Walk recused herself, the case was transferred to the Belize City Magistrates Court for bail consideration. In court, despite objections from the prosecution, bail was offered to Murillo at $7,000 plus one surety of the same amount, or two sureties of $3,500 each, which Murillo met. Conditions of his bail include staying away from the victim and her family, staying 100 yards away from her, and weekly reporting to the Orange Walk police station. Murillo's next court appearance is scheduled for August 29, 2024 in Orange Walk District. Saul Enrique Lisby, a 48-year-old senior immigration officer, was charged on Wednesday with wounding following an alleged assault of a woman at the western border crossing last Monday. The incident occurred as Teresa Jones was re-entering Belize from Guatemala. According to reports, a verbal altercation ensued between Mrs. Jones and Mr. Lisby after Mrs. Jones expressed frustration with the pace that is of the immigration line. Lisby, who has been with the department for 13 years, reportedly exited his booth, approached Jones, and pushed her to the ground, causing her to lose consciousness. She was later taken to the hospital for medical treatment. The Immigration Department immediately launched an investigation and, as per public service regulations, placed Lisby on administrative leave. He is also expected to be placed on interdiction. This incident has raised serious concerns about the conduct of immigration officials and the safety of individuals crossing the border. The Immigration Department, however, is assuring the public that they are taking the matter seriously and will cooperate fully with the ongoing investigation. According to CEO Tanya Santos, and we quote, "The Ministry of Immigration does not countenance nor condone that type of behavior and will certainly not want to see people who behave in that fashion within this ministry. While we are guided by due process and the various statutes that govern the public service, we assure the public that we will be pursuing this to the fullest extent possible." End of quote. The public is also advised that if they have any complaints about similar treatment by staff of the Ministry of Immigration, they can report these to the Customer Service Desk, attention Chief Executive Officer, at the following contacts, and the matter will be investigated. WhatsApp 610-2143 from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. or extension 823-5213 from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. You can also send an email to customer.service@immigration.gov.bz. Based on the incident that occurred, we understand that the ministry will prioritize and bolster its customer service, public relations, and conflict resolution training to improve its interaction with and service to the people. As for Lisby, he is expected to appear in court soon. So far, police have been mum about the hit-and-run accident that occurred in Corozal 2 weeks ago. The victim, Wilbur Beltran, was knocked down on the Santa Rita Road and left on the pavement as the driver of the vehicle failed to render assistance. Tonight, Beltran, a father of 5, is listed at the KHMH and his health condition is grim. The incident happened in the wee hours of May 5th, 2024. Surveillance camera of a business entity recorded the accident. According to the family of Beltran, the police department has been slow to follow up on the accident. This forced them to find other avenues to gather information. We are told that family members were able to narrow down the details matching the vehicle that knocked down Beltran. The information led the family to a residence in Santa Rita, Corozal. All the information gathered was passed on to the police. In fact, a video provided to us showed cops visiting the residence and taking a vehicle to the Corozal police station. The gray vehicle, from what we were able to observe, has a damage on the front passenger side. We are told that the owner of the vehicle was taken in for questioning but was later released. While we sought corroboration if the individual was charged, taken to court, and released on bail, our calls for information have gone unanswered. What we do know is that Beltran's family is not happy about the way police is handling the situation. As we told you, Wilbur Beltran is in need of blood. He is O positive. Viewers might recall that as part of the process to conclude a 2-year commercial agreement for the purchase and sale of sugar cane in early January 2024, both Belize Sugar Industries Limited, BSI, and Belize Sugarcane Farmers Association, BSCFA, agreed to have Mr. Hugh O'Brien conduct an analysis to determine whether throughput fee and terminal handling charge are justified port cost. That report was submitted to all industry stakeholders, including BSI, ASR, and the BSCFA. The first to disclose those findings was BSI ASR, who in a press release stated that the analysis found that terminal handling charges and throughput fees are justified port charges. O'Brien, according to BSI ASR's release, also concluded that the industry is saving significant costs from the transition to the port of Big Creek through more efficient loading. In a release by the millers on Friday last, they add, and we quote, "Based on the findings, these charges remain in the commercial agreement and cane price estimates issued thus far for the 2023-2024 crop stay unchanged," unquote. Today, the BSCFA issued a release of their own on the findings, stated that what BSI ASR is not saying is that O'Brien's report shows that the disputed throughput costs and terminal handling costs were being charged in the period 2019 to 2023. The BSCFA notes that this was being done without its consent and agreement and contrary to the commercial agreement in force during this period. According to the BSCFA, the report also shows a duplication in the charging of throughput fee relating to contracted services provided by the Port of Big Creek, but which BSI chooses to undertake at its expense. This situation, according to the association, raises the question as to where are those unnecessary expenses being accounted for and the charge to cane farmers who pay 65% of all deductions. BSCFA also states that O'Brien also made recommendations for both parties to consider. Among them was a recommendation that stevedoring costs and throughput costs be reported separately in the calculation of the price of sugarcane so that these costs are crystal clear. He also recommended that BSI request all shipping agents to separate ocean freight and terminal handling charge in their invoicing to BSI. In the release, the BSCFA also mentions other costs that need to be evaluated, including local handling charges and manufacturing allowance. Coming up next, the experts tell us how to deal with agitated bees. Stay tuned.
Mi nombre es Mercedes García, me dedico a artesanías de bayal. Yo tengo, creo que más de 20 años de ser miembro. Quería poner este negocio y le dije pues fui allá y le dije al gerente, por favor, necesito unas máquinas. ¿Y qué necesitas? Pues dime cuánto. No tenía casa, no tenía nada. Ahorita tengo casa, hasta carro tengo. Lo que me gusta ahí en Credit Junior que uno llega y puede ver bastante fila, pero rápido. Los que trabajan ahí, los trabajadores son rápidos. Y acá pues me ayudaron hasta para hacer esto. Estas paredes así me ayudaron a hacerlo porque me dieron el préstamo. Entonces, aunque yo no lo puedo hacer, pero pago para que me lo hagan y eso pues gracias a Credit Junior.
One day, we decided to gather everyone who loves The Last of Us in one place. The naked and afraid fans, and well, everyone who loves realities. The ones who don't like spoilers, and the ones who do. And those who love Barbie and Peppa Pig. That place is called Max. Well, it's not an actual place. It's on your screens, and there's room for everyone. Max is here to bring you more of the stories that you love. Max, the one to watch.
Do you want quick cash for your gold? Then take advantage of Monica's Pawn Shop's big loans on gold and our guaranteed low rate of only 10% on all pawn jewelry. But it doesn't stop there. We also pawn TVs, buy scrap gold, and pawn vehicles that you can still drive. Visit Monica's Pawn Shop today in our Belize City location at number 128 Cemetery Road, our Belmopan location at number 5 Garden Plaza, our Orange Walk location, number 2 Belize Corazal Road. Give us a call at 207-0970 and get more money for your gold jewelry.
A number of persons who were stung by a swarm of bees yesterday are tonight recuperating at the Corozal Community Hospital. The report instantly spread on social media with even word that one person had passed away. Luckily, there were no fatalities in the incident. Reports are that the individuals were attacked by the bees while socializing at the pool, an establishment located in the village of San Joaquin. Everyone was in a festive mood when all of a sudden the swarm of bees appeared in the area. According to the management of the establishment, when the individuals were stung, they acted immediately. 3 ambulances were immediately dispatched to the area, taking the victims to the hospital. With quick response from employees of the Ministry of Agriculture and an employee of CMGC, the bees were controlled and the matter was resolved. And while there was no loss of human life, we understand that a dog who was tied in the area in a yard passed away as a result of the numerous stings it received.
Pues los llamaron como las 4.
Bee swarm sightings to the nearest agricultural office. With that in mind, today we had a conversation with 2 of the bee experts who responded to the bee attack in San Joaquin. According to Felix Esquivel and Ezekiel Esquivel, the swarm of bees attacked after they were agitated.
Pues los llamaron como las 4:30 los otros que tienen un problema ahí en San Joaquín en la piscina. Y los otros fuimos a llegar. Cuando llegamos allá, pues ya la ambulancia se estaba yendo, eran 2 ambulancias que estaban llevando a la gente. Y cuando llegamos allá vimos todo regoteado y vimos un montón de abejas que estaba aborotado allá, picando a toda la gente que estaba alrededor. Ya estaba vacío la piscina allá y los ponimos inmediatamente a localizar el nido de la abeja que estaba haciendo el problema de eso. Eso es lo que estábamos haciendo, yo y mi hijo, nos ponimos a localizarlo todo alrededor. Pero tuvimos un pequeño problema que no lo localizamos porque como quedó oscuro rápido, no lo pudimos localizar ese mismo rato. Pues las abejas ya no es el mero africano, es un cruce, pero la situación es que cuando se molesta el nido, se queda agresivo todo. No sé, decirte cuánta gente fue al hospital, no estoy muy seguro porque no supe cuánta gente fue, pero sí creo que fueron regular, más que 10 de ellos que fueron hospitalizados.
Este ha sido su trabajo de muchos años, entonces su hipótesis de por qué esto había pasado el día de ayer en San Joaquín.
Lo que pasa ahorita que estamos en el honey season, la cosecha está ahorita, y lo que está pasando ahorita que los enjambres están bien fuertes y puede pasar como es tiempo de mango y guaya, pasan las ardillas y molestan al nido. Y cuando el nido se revuelve, ellos se empiezan a atacar y van a atacar todo lo que esté cerca. Y afortunadamente estaba cerca la gente que se estaba divirtiendo el Día de las Madres allá en la piscina y eso fue el problema. Eso es una cosa que no podemos evitarlo porque a veces no se miran esos nidos están bien escondidos.
Pues de lo que miramos, que están diciendo que es un enjambre que pasó, es mentira. Eso no puede, un enjambre cuando es pasajero, él solo pasa, no se queda alborotado y empieza a picar a la gente, no, eso es mentira. Ajá. Tal vez es una ardilla, cualquiera, hasta los pájaros, iguanas, lo que sea que esté arriba del árbol, molesta el nido. Van a atacar. Y usualmente cuando fueron a atacar la piscina porque había DJ, la música, el ambiente, el ruido, todo eso, y fueron directos a picar.
As you heard, it is the season of pollination and now is the time that you just might encounter a hive of bees. But what do you do? In that case, we ask the experts.
Si usted ve que las abejas están atacando, lo mejor que puede hacer es cubrir su boca, porque la abeja busca el aliento, van a querer entrar en su boca, su nariz, cubrir su boca, bajar su cabeza y correr. No quedarse parado allá a querer manotearlo o eso, porque la abeja, cuando una abeja te pica, suelta una hormona que lo huelen las otras aves y van a venir más sobre de ti. Y más. Y cuando veas, estás rodeado y a veces a veces no puedes correr, lo mejor que pueden hacer, si tienen hijos chicos o algo así, que lo tapen con una toalla y corran. No se queden parados. Y nunca vayan a agarrar un flito o querer flitearse alrededor porque va a ser peor. Va a ser peor porque la abeja queda más rebelde y van a venir más sobre ustedes. Eso, mi recomendación mía es mejor bajan su cabeza y corran recto, vean a dónde están yendo y no paren.
¿Y qué tal en la situación como el día de ayer? Estaban alrededor de una piscina. ¿Sería buena idea meterse en la piscina? ¿Es agua?
Pues si los niños no creo que iban a poder aguantar tanto agua del agua, pero la situación, como te digo, está duro porque la abeja cuando anda ya bastante arriba, cuando salga siempre te van a atacar. Lo mejor es cubrirte con algo o tratar de correr, quitarte de su camino de ellos. Lo mejor que yo les digo es que vayan al hospital, porque allá en el hospital tiene tiene el suero y tiene el antibiótico. Porque hay mucha gente que son bien alérgicos, que 2, 3 abejas ya se están ahogando. Hay unos que lo pueden aguantar, pero hay otros que no. Hay unos que yo he visto que 2, 3 abejas se están muriendo y tienen de ponerle oxígeno y todo porque la abeja, su cuerpo no resiste el veneno de esa abeja.
Usted dijo que ayer el tipo de abeja era un abeja cross.
Es un cruce ahora porque ya el mero africano ya no lo tenemos, ya se está cruzando. El mero africano, ese era una abeja que cuando venía te atacaba por puños. Cuando te ataca, pero siempre no viene toda la colmena. Siempre quedan unos en la colmena, pero los que andan atacando ya no son muy agresivos como antes, pero siempre son bravos. Siempre son bravos las abejas.
To reach out to the Esquivels and Sons honey products, you can call 629-7273. As mentioned at the top of the newscast, Prime Minister John Briceño was in Cancun over the weekend for an official visit with Mexico's President Manuel López Obrador. Discussions also included the exportation of cattle and the extension of Tren Maya into Belize. Both discussions, according to Prime Minister Briceño, seek to bring much benefit to the Belizean economy and people and are expected to formalize in the coming weeks.
We spoke about cattle. The presidential decree has come to an end and looking at about expanding it so that we could continue to export cattle into Mexico. We also look at coconuts, a new industry in Belize, and we'll be working with Sinaseca. And the Minister of Agriculture was there with me, they were started discussions on how we'll be able to get our coconuts following the requirements from Mexico. And so we spoke also about that, and shrimp. And then we spoke also, announced that the cabinet, our cabinet has agreed to provide the cars to the Mexicans free of charge, so they could come into Belize easily, remove the border tax, and then also be able to use their insurance into Belize. We're doing this so that we can be able to make it easier for Mexicans to visit Belize. And lastly, we spoke about Tren Maya. We spoke with the General Aguila, who is in charge of the project, along with ICA. It's a private sector company that's building. They have different sections. They're building at different companies along with the army. They're building it, and about the possibility of moving from Chetumal, Tren Maya, also to our border, and to start there and then eventually go into the rest of the country.
Also present during that meeting was the governor of Quintana Roo, Mara Lezama Espinosa, who is expected to host a working visit to Belize in the coming weeks.
The governor from Quintana Roo was also there. We had several discussions and interest in the port, because now that Chetumal is going to be a duty-free area, all the goods will have to come through the Belize port. So they want to also take a look at the port and see that we can improve the port so that they could handle the amount of goods that they expect that will be coming through shortly. I extended an invitation to the governor, and we expect that probably in maybe a month or two, so that maybe she'll be able to come on a working visit.
Tensions have been high in neighboring Tutamal since the start of May following the execution of a police officer in broad daylight on Avenida Insurgentes in late April. Fermin Cortez Burgos, who was the commander of the Secretariat of Citizen Security and the former director of the Cancun prison, was fired at as many as 40 times. That killing was coupled with an increase of street crimes and violence believed to be the work of cartels in the area. The threat of criminal activity in neighboring Quintana Roo also prompted heightened border security in Belize as our armed forces seek to keep narco violence outside Belizean territory. Today, the Minister of Police, Karim Musa, gave an update on the additional security operation here in the north, as it seems that violence in Mexico is reducing.
Our counterparts in Mexico are saying that in fact things are dying down, the tension is easing a bit, but at the same time we must be relentless in terms of protecting our border, and so we are at no point letting our guards down right now. The presence is still there, the increase in presence and personnel from our department and the military is at our border points, and so we are taking it very seriously. We have not put our guards down, despite the fact that it seems to have quelled a bit in Mexico.
Minister Musa also confirmed that police continue their work to seek out criminal elements in the northern districts who are believed to be linked with cartels.
You might have seen last week, I believe it was, wanted posters for certain individuals from the north. Those are investigations, active investigations into those individuals that is being carried out by the department.
Also joining with the police department in their operations in the north are elements of the BDF. Today, Minister of Defense Florencia Marin told the media government is looking to increase funding towards our armed forces.
I feel confident that, first of all, this is a law enforcement issue. The BDF always supports, and we have excellent collaboration with the police. I do feel confident that when they come together, they have a history of working together, BDF and police. I know they could put together a good plan. That we're always short, yes. We have a supplementary going in to be able to help contain, to be able to help continue the operation we have up north.
In recent years, cybersecurity has become an increasing part of the national dialogue in Belize, with discussions to address this issue which affects many Belizeans on a daily basis. Almost weekly you hear on the news or on social media of cases where Belizeans are scammed out of their hard-earned money. Most recently, a Belize city woman was charged for scamming a popular restaurant of thousands of dollars using falsified bank receipts. This issue, according to Minister of Home Affairs Honorable Karim Musa, is looked at closely by the police department so as to minimize the number of cases of cyber crimes against our Belizean people.
Yes, cybersecurity, as you know, over the last 5 years to a decade, has been on the front burner for our ministry and across the region. As you know, Jamaica was facing an incredible issue with scammers in Jamaica, and now we have seen it come to our shores on a much smaller scale, but at the same time extremely important. And so we have been monitoring this along with the Chamber of Commerce. They have brought it to our attention from last year. A number of call centers have raised the issue, and so moving forward, it is our intention to meet with them to see what types of legislation we can put in place. I'm happy that in some situations we are able to charge individuals for the fraud that they have committed, but moving forward, tightening the legislation around that is extremely important.
And there is more news after the break. Stay tuned.
My name is Stacey Badillo. This is my sister Gina Badillo, and we've been owners of this business for the past 19 years. It is called Purple Passion Studio and Spa, and we're located in Kekaker, Belize. I've been part of the credit union for 12 years, and Gina for 19 years. Professionally, it's allowed us for our business to grow, and our careers has grown as well.
We have had great customer service at Credit Union.
They're exceptional.
Yes.
For this small island, it's very important, but for our small business, it's even more important. It has changed our lives, the lives of our children, of our families.
I highly recommend St. Francis Credit Union to my children, to my family, to my clients, to everyone that is around me, that it's always the number one.
One day, we decided to gather everyone who loves The Last of Us in one place. The naked and afraid fans, and well, everyone who loves realities. The ones who don't like spoilers, and the ones who do. And those who love Barbie and Peppa Pig. That place is called Max. Well, it's not an actual place. It's on your screens, and there's room for everyone. Max is here to bring you more of the stories that you love. Max, the one to watch.
It's another Mr. Fall promotion at Guinea Grass Village Council presents Buffalo. It's all happening on Saturday, May 18th at the New River Park, Guinea Grass Village. Everybody come, let's Buffalo. Live performance by the General himself, Super G. The General performing live. May 18th, New River Park, Guinea Grass Village. Music juggling by DJ Dickus and DJ Virgo. Get your ticket, pre-sale. Tickets $20 and hear more at the door. And when I done that, you better come Guinea Grass Village because you can't afford to miss this big Punta Rap competition and lots of giveaways. Mr. Fall Promotion and Guinea Grass Village Council, Buffalo. Sponsored by Express Plus Streaming Entertainment, Rum of Billy's trademark, Mr. Fall Promotion and Rum Berry.
Last week, we told you that AstraZeneca began pulling its COVID-19 vaccine from the markets around the world, with most European countries being the first to do so. The factual information available confirms that since the AstraZeneca vaccine was approved in Britain in December 2020, at least 3 billion doses were supplied to all its markets. Post-2020, other brands took over since the coronavirus kept evolving. Today, the Oxford University's AstraZeneca shot is no longer being manufactured or even supplied to markets. The Minister of Health and Wellness was asked about the recall of the vaccine and what implications were involved, if any, for the country and people of Belize.
Well, let me point out first of all that the AstraZeneca name is the company brand, and like if you call Pfizer, you call Abbott, these are company names. But the specific COVID-19 vaccine that is being recalled is a Vaxzevria COVID-19 vaccine that was built for the European market. Belize, in this case, did not get the AstraZeneca, that Vaxzevria version of the vaccine. We got from India, and so we had the Oxford brand from AstraZeneca. However, while the AstraZeneca vaccine, and when you hear it from the front, you will think, oh, all AstraZeneca, but it's not necessarily that. No, it's a type of vaccine that was produced in Europe. We, never did distribute that specific vaccine because we never did receive any of that specific brand, that Vaxzevria. We had the Oxford, as I said, that was distributed in Belize. We haven't had any issues really of persons complaining or going to the hospitals with major issues, and if there was any, it would have been minor. However, even if it was the AstraZeneca module Oxford brand that we have in country, there is none available. The ones that we would have had would have already been expired, and we have no longer distributing those. There's also the issue of the lack of need for the vaccine. People are no longer seeking the vaccination. While we still encourage people to, we have the Pfizer vaccine, which we continue to utilize if people need them. But we don't have the AstraZeneca in country. There's no more of it. But those that was here, we had already had to destroy them because they have already expired.
So just for clarification, that specific one that was recalled, Belize never had it?
No, never had the Vaxzevria. That was a vaccine that was built for the European market. And if you look at the articles that are being said out there, it's clearly specifying that it has been withdrawn from the European market. But they are also recalling it from other parts of the world, which they had supplied. In the case of Belize, we did not get that specific Vaxzevria vaccine. What is happening now is that companies, manufacturers are manufacturing vaccines for the type of variant that COVID has. And so they're tailoring it to those, and that's the reason why there's no big demand in one specific model or brand of vaccine. And so that's what they are doing. So, but just want to make that clarity that the Vaxzevria COVID-19 vaccine, which was made by AstraZeneca for the European market, Belize never had any access to those ones.
The AstraZeneca vaccine has been distributed to more than 170 countries and governments globally. For some time, there has been talks about an impending pay cut for the members of the Belize Defense Force attributed to an error which was found in the system that led them to being overpaid for over 5 years. For several weeks, the media have been questioning the Minister of National Defense about the matter and when it is expected to be resolved. Today, when the minister was again pressed on the issue, he maintained that while the situation is being resolved, it will take some time.
We have to thoroughly go through a full review of the soldier's salary. We need to do this with the Ministry of the Public Service. We need to do this with the Ministry of Finance and our ministry. So it is not a one-time fix. We don't just move them up a scale or bring them down a scale and it will be resolved. No, we have to go through the whole thing thoroughly, and we do have to do it very quick. We're also including the new allowances as well that will be put into for the benefit of our soldiers. So it is not a one-time fix. So I know you all are bringing it up every time, but it is not something that we can do, at the speed that everyone would like. Yes, but it is an urgency for the ministry.
Today, Honorable Kevin Bernard, Minister of Health and Wellness, received another donation from Her Excellency Lily Li Wensu, Ambassador of the Republic of China, Taiwan. This time, the donation came from a Taiwanese NGO, Kao Zong Zi Foundation. The donation, valued at a total of $25,500 US, includes 240 adult wheelchairs, 50 children's wheelchairs, 80 steel commodes, 160 aluminum walkers, and 400 aluminum walking sticks. Today's donation underlines Taiwan's commitment to aiding communities worldwide, particularly in times of need, and emphasizes the importance of solidarity and cooperation in addressing global public health challenges. In his remarks, Minister Bernard expressed gratitude to the Kao Zong Zi Foundation, the people and government of the Republic of China, Taiwan, for their continued support and friendship. The minister reiterated Belize's call for Taiwan's inclusion in the World Health Organization, WHO. He stated that it is imperative for all global players, including Taiwan, to have the opportunity to contribute effectively to international health initiatives. And that's the news. We invite you to join us for another newscast on Tuesday, May 14th, here on Ctv3 and Fiesta FM 106.7. Remember that to read a text version of the news, you can visit our website at ctv3belizenews.com. You can also log on to our Facebook page for current stories at facebook.com/ctv3belizenews or our YouTube channel at Ctv3 News BZ. Remember to wash your hands and remain safe. From all of us here at Ctv3 News, thank you for watching and listening. Good night.